Conference Volleyball on ESPN. It's the regular season finale as the Ball State Cardinals look for one last hurrah before the MAC tournament. They host a Central Michigan team that looks to right the wrongs in their finale. Cardinals and Chippewas, Friday night volleyball in Muncie. We welcome you inside Worthen Arena. I'm Rowan Elbert. That's Dylan Budd, the third member of our crew, Annika Whitty, joining us in a matter of moments. But Dylan, yesterday, a three-set match going in the Cardinals' favor. It was really all Cardinals.
Yeah, it felt like Ball State was in the driver's seat all night long, and the biggest thing that struck out to me is that they were opportunistic. Central kept making more and more mistakes as the game went on, and when you're the top team in the conference, you are not going to let those errors slide.
Going into this matchup tonight, what do both teams need to do to get the upper hand, starting with the Chippewas?
Well, when you look at the Chippewas, they had great net presence yesterday, and you need another big day of that. It was a big momentum swing at times last night. The second thing, you have to limit the supporting cast. Carson Tyler will be Carson Tyler no matter what. If you can shut down another offensive weapon, that could be big. And lastly, Central Michigan is one of the fastest teams in the conference. If you can push the pace and keep the Cardinals on their toes, you might be able to sneak out of this one. Now, as for Ball State, I want to see them share the wealth a little bit more. They have too many good offensive weapons to not use all of them. They've got to be able to shut down at least one of the pin hitters. They did a great job of containing both yesterday. And this is the last game. There's low stakes having clinched the 1 seed. You can try all the things you want, and maybe something can stick around come tournament time.
Dylan, we would be remiss not to mention senior night tonight at Worthen Arena. For more on that, the third member of our crew, Annika Whitty. How's it shaking, my friend?
Just wonderful. Tonight is such an emotional night for the Cardinals as they celebrate their graduates and senior in their very last home match, not just of the season, but of their collegiate careers. Those being honored tonight are graduates Kristen Ashby and Noelle Van Ort, as well as senior Katie Eganoff. They all have made immeasurable contributions to this team, and these fantastic athletes will bid fond farewells to Worthen Arena following last night's sweep over the Chippewas, and they hope to leave a victorious mark on Muncie this evening as well, injured or healthy.
Thank you, Annika. Great stuff down there. Let's go over the starting lineups right before game time. If you take a look at the Ball State Cardinals, at least on our end, it seems like business as usual for the Cards.
Yeah, and when we talked to Coach Kelly Miller Phillips earlier in the week, we had asked, is there any inclination to start seeing how some of your younger players might play out? And she said, no, we've got a tournament to win. We want to see our starters continue to get normal time and stay fresh.
Central Michigan, it's the exact opposite. You don't see players like Natalia Raymond in there, Keelan Mill. Instead, they go with more youth on their side.
Well, as for Central Michigan, as we know from last night, they were eliminated from playoff contention. So now is a chance to see how some of your younger players will do in an environment like Worthen Arena. Players like Molly Beatty getting a start after she was in the serve rotation, as well as Rainey Wademan getting a nod.
Lindsey Green will start us off for the Ball State Cardinals, serving it across. 39 aces for her on the season. She's been magnificent. Here in the volleyball capital of the world, Muncie, Indiana, and we are underway. The Chippewas with Beatty on the serve. Back up. Swears gets it down, a miscommunication. Chippewas an early 1-0 lead.
Yeah, and yesterday Swears didn't have too much time, only had one dig, so matching her total early on, we expect to see more from her as she generally has rotated with Taylor Kripe throughout the year.
Molly Beatty coming from Heron High School in the Indianapolis area, played for Club Munciana. Ball State in control. Green, the heave, wide's the big spike. Cardinals even it up.
And early on, the Cardinals are spreading the rock, as we mentioned in our keys. Most of these games, the first attack would go to Carson Tyler, but Wise gets it done on aisle 3.
Aisle 3 is right down the gut of Central Michigan. Beatty with the tap over, miscommunication, has to be free-balled. Lindsey Green for the Cardinals. Back across court, Van Ort. Great dig that time from Kripe. Wise down aisle 3, gets it to go.
2 straight for Cameron Wise. Why not? If it isn't broken, don't fix it, Rowan. Efficiency is her name, leading hitting percentage in the conference.
Back in Central Michigan's control, the hard spike up, looked over, great dig from Lindsey Green. Noelle Van Ort just taps it over. Chippewas have an opportunity to reset. Tap over, goes out of play, it appears on that near side. It does. That was Maggie Hewitt getting the start for the Chippewas. She had her first attack look there.
Yeah, and this is her first game since September 26th against Western Michigan. Good to see her out there.
Long time coming for the sophomore. Beatty in reverse, Swears, does it get down? No, it does not. Ball State going on a big run, 4-1 after the Chippewas led 1-0.
Well, and credit to the Ball State defense there, but it's so hard to get a cross-court shot having to contort your body like that.
Central Michigan, the long spike. Tiffany Snook tried to take advantage, couldn't quite get it. Hewitt blocked up front by Wise. Chippewas back with it. Ball State, they can't handle it. Tiffany Snook couldn't get a hold of it. Central Michigan cuts it in half.
And immediately Tiffany Snook just tried to take advantage and keep Central Michigan out of rhythm, but that time it was her own error that got Central the point.
Now the sophomore Izzy Swears. We see a youth-powered look for the Chippewas on this matchup. As Lindsey Green sets it up for Noelle Van Noort on senior night. She is stuffed up front, but it goes out of play. So Sophie Ledbetter to serve it across. Former HSC Royal, won a pair of state championships right here at Worthen Arena. Beatty, cross-court Hewitt, it's tipped up front, it goes to the Chippewas.
And Central's done such a great job of being able to spread the floor on offense. It leaves those middle blockers, Snook and Kroll, really in a difficult spot to try and cross from one spot to another, running all day long. It's why Kroll didn't have that much of an impact yesterday.
Yeah, remember, Central Michigan, they had more blocks than Ball State yesterday. Hannah Langton checks in to serve it. Lindsey Green, slide action, Snook, it's handled by Langton. Sliding action for the Chippewas themselves as Ball State controls. Green, Kroll, handled by Swears. To the near side we go. Kripe, the freshman, her attack is too long, too much mustard on it, goes to the Cardinals. Now we see, going back to what we've seen really all season, Dylan, that 6'2", Reese Axis checks in.
They've really started to do that for pretty much all of MAC play. They were trying around different things like a 5-1 and non-con, but they've stuck with the latter through conference.
The attempt from Thomas doesn't go. The setup for Ashby on senior night, there it is. Kristen Ashby had 4 kills yesterday, gets it done once more.
Absolutely, and 12 kills in her last 3. I wouldn't be shocked if she gets significant time in her last game at Worthen.
Dylan, she's really been getting her name called quite often recently.
She's had a number of kills, but as well as a great presence up front.
Beatty, the setup, Kripe the tap, Axness with the dig. Ball State, they heave up for Van Noort, it gets down on the hardwood.
Now both graduates are making an impact on either side of the net. Just goes to show how in system they've been as soon as they came here to Muncie, just caught up very handily.
The freshman Reese Axis, it goes too long. A rare error for the Cardinals on the service drive yesterday. They had 6 errors, but that's something you just don't see from Ball State.
Uncharacteristic of the Cardinals, they've really been excellent from the line as well as in serve receive.
Cardinals doubling up on Central Michigan. Axness falling back row attack from Van Noort. It's too long. Point goes to the Chippewas, 8-5. So back to serve it, Grace Thomas leading this Central Michigan team in aces with 29 on the year. For Axness to pop it up for Gwen Kroll down the middle with the slide action.
This is going to be the bread and butter of both teams, Rowan. These two run it more than any other squad in the conference. Both coaches credited to be able to space the floor and give a little bit more momentum to those middle hitters. Good to see Gwen Kroll getting back in action.
And momentum is what I think about with that slide action, that running start. It's so beneficial. Kripe off of Anderson, gets it to go.
There's a reason she's our impact player. She had 2 really great blockers in front of her in Kroll and Kristen Ashby, but still able to land it home as the freshman phenom.
And you know what, Dylan? She's only a freshman. I mean, we're just getting started here. A wake-up call for the Mid-American Conference, perhaps. Axis, a freshman of herself, and Gwen Kroll gets it to go down.
And screaming is this Cardinals offense. Again, great to see Kroll back in action. She hit at just 9% yesterday. It's her lowest since September 6th against South Dakota, already at a really efficient number of 500.
Which is weird because before that matchup, she was attacking 50% in her last 5, but good to see her getting hot early. The setup for Sweer, she's stonewalled by Wise. That Wise and Tyler combination, really tough to get past. We have our first timeout called by the Central Michigan Chippewas. Ball State getting hot early, 11-6 our score. You're watching Mid-American Conference Volleyball on ESPN. Back in action, Friday night volleyball in Muncie. This is game 2 of a 2-match set. Let's talk about last night, what went down in a 3-0 Cardinal win.
Well, as we mentioned in the open, Ball State was just really taking advantage of all of Central's mistakes. And as we see with the set numbers, just the Chippewas were just continuing to dwindle away on offense. Carson Tyler led the way in kills with 14, also had 10 digs to have her 15th double-double on the year. Green had one as well with 22 assists and 11 digs. These stars of Ball State have really shown out at the end of conference play.
That Tyler double-double, she can really just do it all. Central Michigan, they get the first touch at it. Sweers is blocked up front by the Cardinals. How about that, Carson Tyler?
She really can do it all, can't she? She had a couple blocks in yesterday's match and, you know, had one to end the, or to propose the timeout, and had it coming out of it too.
Over the middle, Brooklyn Connor goes off of tabling.
It's really the first time we've seen Central attack that middle spot, especially with Weiss and Kroll roaming when they've been on the floor to cover those pin hitters. Good to see Central starting to spread the floor out.
Elizabeth Tabling has 18 matches without an error on the attack side. Cam Wise is blocked up front. Central Michigan out of the timeout, going on a bit of a run.
And that's yet another solo block from Abby Olin. Great play from her, but it's the first time all game we saw that really short serve to try and keep the Cardinals offense out of rhythm.
Goes down as the 62nd block of the year for Connor. Access the pop-up. Far side, Tyler, too strong.
And the reason you do that short serve is potentially to have an outside hitter get that first touch so they can't build the momentum of swinging their arm and getting some dominant kill. Generally, it's targeted to Carson Tyler. Tabling was able to run up and receive, and that's why Tyler got so much on it.
Cardinals were ready for it. Kelly Miller-Phillips, one of the great volleyball minds. Chippewas have trouble with this serve, but we're back at it. Tyler from the back row. Was there a finger on it? No, there was not. It goes to Central Michigan.
You know, I hate to be one to speculate, but in my unprofessional opinion, I worry that that might have hit the coffin corner as some subs come in. No movement from KMP, so maybe I'm just wrong.
Perhaps. Nothing wrong with that, Dylan. I've been wrong many a time in my time here. It's Abby Olin. Back behind Tiffany Snook. Unable to get it down on that back side.
The one difficulty for a middle hitter when you're on that slide action is you're used to attacking up the middle where you have so much court to work with, and it's limited when you're moving laterally.
She's kind of had to patrol that right side. Ball State, that's an error on their side with the serve. A rare time where they can't get it to go.
Yeah, tough scenes for Carson Tyler. It's her 24th reception error, up there with Ledbetter libero as well. It's probably the one blemish on her incredible resume.
Lindsey Green, she sets it up for Wise on the slide, goes back over to Ball State. Tyler with the tap over. Great dig from Kripe. Off of the block. Chippewas back in control. Kripe, Ledbetter can't dive to get it. Central Michigan the point.
The back row attack for Taylor Kripe has been so effective. It gives her a chance to run up with a lot of space and just tee off at that middle spot Ledbetter.
Abby Olin once more to serve. Ball State only up by 1. Carson Tyler from back behind. She gets the rights back in her direction.
Yeah, and when Ball State is in any times of trouble, why not go to Carson Tyler? We know how productive she's been, and she's the perfect person to bail you out of any dire straits.
When in trouble, why not go to Carson Tyler? Seems like a go-to. She serves it across. Has over 30 service aces herself, a topper off of the net. On that near side, Hewitt, great dig from Ledbetter. Anderson responds for Central Michigan. George the set for Sweers. Ball State ready. Tyler back row, off the net and down.
Now the Cardinals get a little bit of help from the net, takes a friendly Cardinal bounce. Second time in that possession, a Tyler attack hit off the tape. This time friendly for the Redbirds.
Those toppers, man, they get a lot of spin on that. That got down on the back row. That's an ace for Tyler.
Untouched, that ball hit the Terraflex court. I don't know how that happens. Chips are now conversing. I think there was some miscommunication in the back row.
And then it's followed by an error immediately after on Tyler's end. That's typically what you see after a big ace.
Right, and in a game like this, as we said, you got to experiment a little bit more. And as we've seen in this series, Carson Tyler has been trying that spin serve again. She did it early on last night and then went back to the normal float knuckleballer. Spinning it today, already has a couple service aces. She had 3 yesterday, but first error of the contest for her.
Izzy Sweers getting the nod in the lineup. Another topper on the serve. Tiffany Snook gets in on the coffin corner.
She did it beautifully. Can you tell she used to be a middle blocker? Because that was awesome placement from her.
Yeah, that's the thing, because she has to go over to that right side. We were talking to Kelly Miller-Phillips, and she said it's kind of by default having to go to the right side. Central Michigan. Kripe over the middle. Kroll the tap over. Chippewas weren't ready.
I think Kroll's voice cracked a little bit when she said me, but able to land it in that 3 spot and enough for Coach Wilson to call her second timeout.
Now you only get 2, so Central Michigan using their final timeout. Let's talk a little bit about another Chippewa on the positive side. Abby Olin, the redshirt senior. What she's done for the Chippewas as a whole. Really solid career coming out of Michigan State.
Absolutely, and when you look at her on the court, you can see that she brings such a presence up front, being 6'3", completely towering, and that leads to a lot of solo blocks. In fact, 68 in her career. It's the 3rd most in program history. She's been incredible. Not only does she have the size to do it, but she has the reach. She's another person that transitioned from a middle hitter role to an opposite side hitter. And the transition has been seamless. Props to her for just an incredible career.
It really has been seamless. That has to be tough, though, especially when you have that length. You feel like you're meant to play the position, but you have to go to that opposite side.
That's true, but then when you think about the other team and trying to contest that, I mean, how do you defend it? When somebody is just so tall on that side of the net, it's going to lead to a lot of contested balls and a chance for your offense to kind of regather themselves when they slow the ball down.
Abby Olin's been great in that situation. So is Tiffany Snook for Ball State. So, with Abby Olin, this being what will be her final collegiate game, the future is still bright for Tiffany Snook. A lot of volleyball ahead on her side.
Absolutely. Olin being a redshirt senior, she's really taken a lot of time here for Central. But Tiffany Snook, just a sophomore, and she's tall as well, 6'2", and has a whole lot of reach, as we've seen on the floor already. The Fishers native has been great in her return to Indiana.
Now it's Sophie Ledbetter at the timeout for Ball State. It just goes right off the net, right into the netting. But Hannah Langton checks in for Central Michigan. It's important to note, it is senior night for Ball State, but this is the last match for a lot of seniors on the Chippewa side, so there are emotions there.
Yeah, they celebrated their senior day in that second Miami game. A handful of seniors like Olin and Alina Anderson, among others, were honored.
Beatty in reverse. She's stonewalled by Van Orten Kroll. Ball State just 1 point away from winning that race to 20. Noelle Van Oort got the finger on it. Ball State by 5. Off the top of the net we go. Back to Thomas, Axis to dig. Van Oort from behind. Unable to fall as she laid it over. Kripe, big spike, Ledbetter off with a big screen. We reset with Van Oort. Chippewa's keeping it alive. Kripe on that near side. Ashby gets a finger on it. Out of play. Central Michigan points.
CMU's 5 beats BSU's 5, but I'm glad you mentioned the Jumbotron. We got the chance to call those Kent State games, and that ball hit the Jumbotron over and over. Just an added element to try and play it off the bounce.
And that was a lot lower, too. It almost serves as a 4th touch. Kroll on the slide. Swears the dig. Kripe with the tap. Ball State continues to work. Kroll misses it all on the setup.
I don't know what happened there, whether it was a misstep by Kroll or a setting error from Axness, but the latter has struggled in the last few games in just those settings. She has 7 of her 10 set errors in the last 5 games.
Now Ball State works. Van Oort from behind. Langton recovers. Off of Connor. Cardinals can't handle it.
And I don't care if you're a D1 libero, when a ball is coming at you with that speed and just a little bit off from the center of your chest, there's just not much that you can do when it's that fast and that powerful.
So Ball State, they call their first timeout. That's why you saved them. That's what we saw in the last match. Really, Central Michigan, they were burning timeouts early in sets.
Well, and it's nice for Coach Miller-Phillips that her team gets out and hits the ground running pretty early in almost every set. So it's a chance for you to save those timeouts when they start getting a little bit tired like this, and now the Chips have just drawn the lead to 2. Now it's a chance for you to use those timeouts and get a chance to talk to your team. And it's the only time that they've really had to have a conversation on the sideline.
Dylan, every time we talk to Kelly Miller-Phillips, it's just an absolute joy. Such a great volleyball mind. I know we both thoroughly enjoy it. Last time she was telling us that really practice to start every day, just fundamentals, basic hitting, basic setting, stuff like that. Do you think that's attributed to these hot starts?
Well, absolutely it is. I mean, they said at the beginning of practice, it's all basic passing, basic setting. And with both of these teams, both of these head coaches had said that, you know, for everything else to fall into place, you have to follow the fundamentals. But that's, I believe that is why they get out early, and then as they start getting more tired later in sets, those little things start to slip a little bit, and that's why we see some teams start catching up in moments like this.
Central Michigan, they are set to serve after the Ball State timeout. Serving it across, it's the ace leader for the Chippewas and Grace Thomas from Dublin, Ohio. Axis heaves it up. Tyler has the free ball. Beatty the set. Kripe the tap. Can't go. Back behind Van Oort. Falling back, they get it. Kripe, the big spike, does it go out? It does. Ball State point.
Well, there's such a thing as hitting the hand wrong to where it's just a little short or just a little wide, but there also is an added element as an outside hitter of quite literally hitting it too hard. You don't see it too often, especially at the D1 level. That one just sails a little bit too far.
Now Elizabeth tabling for Ball State. Kroll takes advantage. It does get down.
And as these two teams play on and on and on, like we saw last night, the common theme was Ball State capitalizing on the visitors' mistakes. Gwen Kroll did just that right there.
Gwen Kroll, her 4th kill of the match, already more than yesterday. Taylor Kripe off of the net, tabling the dig. Carson Tyler, she says yes. Cards 3 away. They won that race to 20 that Dylan, it's so important due in large part to Carson Tyler.
Well, absolutely. Tyler has a hitting percentage of .500. As an outside hitter, that's unprecedented. Still a lot of game left, though.
Tyler tries once again. It does go. Cardinals 2 away.
In the first set, the Cardinals' best weapon is over .500. I know I mentioned in the keys that you've got to shut down someone that's not Carson Tyler, but she just might do this all by herself.
What can't she do? That's the real question that we might not have an answer to. Tabling a diving effort. Tyler the attack. It's able to go. Ball State, it's set point.
That's 3 straight kills from Carson Tyler on that left side. 6 kills on 8 attacks, just 1 error means she's hitting at 62.5 in set 1.
Crowd on their feet, 5-0 Cardinal run. Connor blocked up. It goes to Central Michigan, they stay alive.
We didn't see too much sliding early on in this first set, and that's one of the rare instances in this stanza that they've done it. Maybe go to it a little bit more and just try some things to be more effective on offense.
Cardinals handle it. Axness, Kroll to tap. Diving effort, Anderson. Axness, Tyler. Does it go? Yes, it does. Ball State takes set 1.
That's 4 straight for Carson Tyler. That is ridiculous, Rowan.
Ridiculous indeed. Set 2 coming your way next on ESPN. Set 2 about to get started. Ball State takes set 1 in impressive fashion. But like we were saying earlier, we'd be remiss to not talk about these seniors, starting with Noelle Van Noort, an Indiana Tech legend at the NAIA level. She thought she was done. She had an engineering level job, but now a Cardinal once again. And going on to another senior that's done great things in her short time for Ball State, Kristen Ashby, the transfer from Alabama State. Kelly Miller-Phillips was telling us it seems like she's been here for years, and you really get the feeling of that. Ashby's done great things for the Cardinals in her role. And lastly, we can't talk about seniors without Katie Eganoff. Maybe not the senior year she wanted, hasn't played at all this year, but the impact she's had even off the floor this year has been immense for Ball State. All three of these seniors will be greatly missed on the Ball State side.
Absolutely, and when you look at all of them, the one prominent thing, they're all pin hitters, and that might be a cause of concern for this Ball State squad, but you have to think about next year that there's the return of the return of Anaya Kennedy and Maddie Buckley, and then you also have a young and emerging Riley Whitlock, so those seniors absolutely will be missed, and yet Cardinals are still in good hands.
For sure. It's funny because we're all focused on the MAC tournament. I'm sure Ball State's focused on the MAC tournament, but they have a lot to look forward to next year as well.
Absolutely. The future is bright in this program, and any year when Coach KMP is under the helm, you know it's going to be a good one. They've established such an outstanding winning culture with Miller-Phillips' tenure here.
Yeah, this has been one of the better years. Looking for the best record for Ball State in her time with a win today, with only one loss in MAC play potentially. 2002, the last time the Cardinals had only one loss in MAC play. Kelly Miller-Phillips, ever since joining in 2016 on at Ball State as the head coach, was an assistant before that, really taking this program to new heights.
Yeah, and she has 2 MAC Coach of the Year nods back-to-back in 2021 and 22. I wouldn't be surprised, knock on wood, if she finds her name being called for that this year as well.
Maybe the favorite in that way. The dump over for Green won't go. Hewitt the attack, Van Noort the dig. Set up for Tyler, the tap over, collected by Beatty. From the back rope, Swears goes off, point goes to the Chippewas.
I really thought the Lindsey Green dump over to start set 2 after a long intermission would land for Ball State, but it's one of my favorite plays in volleyball. Glad to see it back in action.
We don't see it from Ball State too often too, so it's great to see that from Green.
But their opponents have done it to them a lot, and it's been a struggle.
Cam Wise on the slide, got it.
Great placement from the Wapahani kid, just finding the campfire wherever the Chippewas aren't. She's going to slam it there.
From Wapahani, Indiana, Kelly Miller-Phillips, she does take a lot of pride in these in-state recruits. Follows the volleyball scene in Indiana quite a bit. That's an ace for the Cardinals.
That's Green's 40th ace, meaning she now leads at 5th in the Mid-American Conference in that number. Great work from her from the stripe all year.
Beatty the set, over the middle, can't go. Tyler thumped back. Ball State can't control it.
It's not often that you see a booming swing from Carson Tyler get completely rejected, and I don't think Ball State was expecting it as well. That ball coming back to them, you don't know what to do.
Beautiful angle there. The Chippewas with 2 right there. Brooklyn Connor getting the lead on it. Abby Olin. Ball State with it. Green pushes it up. Tyler thumps it.
I thought that Grace Thomas got a finger on the Green set. At least it went over the net, but still able to get it to Carson Tyler, and easy pickings for the sophomore.
Carson Tyler already with 8 kills to her name. 3 digs as well. Could there be an ace? It goes back to Ball State. Green, Van Noort, in.
Credit to Maddie Hewitt for somehow keeping that ball in play. I don't know how it got to the inside of that pin, but credit to her. Ball State able to capitalize, though.
Hewitt only 12 games played going into this matchup. Beatty in reverse, Swears off of Green. A rare error on her part. You just don't see that from Lindsey Green too often, but just a really good spike from Swears.
And immediately we saw that face of distress. She really wanted that one.
Chippewas within 1. Green to her right side. They can't handle Snook's big spike.
This is the first time that Tiffany Snook has stayed at that opposite hitter spot. We've seen her as a middle blocker. Great from her to be so versatile on that front row.
After a year at Memphis, kind of a homecoming from her after being at HSC High School in the area. Ball State, great effort from Ledbetter. Far side Snook, it's too wide.
The second attack error from Tiffany Snook, and those are the pitfalls of transitioning to an opposite hitter from a middle blocker. There's less room on the Terraflex to work with, and little things like that that would be a kill when you're up the middle just might sail wide, and that's what happened there.
Serving it across, Rainey Wademan, the libero for Central Michigan today. Didn't play in the last matchup, but you see that quite often for the Chippewas today at least, really switching it up, going to their younger talent. Green over to Snook, there it goes.
Great of Tiffany Snook to be able to redeem herself. She didn't have enough space in bounds as an opposite hitter, so let's throw her in the middle where she's got all the Terraflex to work with.
I think Kelly Miller-Phillips read your mind, Dylan. Do you have some kind of connection on that side?
No, I wouldn't say so. That'd be cool, though.
Who knows where Ball State would be? Set up from the back row for Swears. Tyler handles her fourth dig. Van Oort, big hammer.
It's Van Oort's fourth kill, but let me tell you, if KMP and I had telepathic minds, she would not be getting volleyball insight from me. That's all her and her craftiness as a head coach.
No offense, Dylan, I don't think they'd be 16-1. Off of Van Oort, it's too long. Big point for Central Michigan.
Yeah, hard to contain that spike. That ball almost hit one of our videographers standing on that side. Got quite a scare from some of the Code Red cheerleaders.
You have to have the shin guards out here almost. The setup over the middle, Ashby is stonewalled. It's been another great blocking day for Central Michigan.
And Central Michigan is doing one of their keys in having a strong net presence, but I really like the idea of having Kristen Ashby up the middle, Ball State following one of their goals as well, in just trying things in a game like this.
Ball State having a tough time handling it, back over to Tyler. Ledbetter, what an effort, but Ball State can't get control.
I think it's misread by Kristen Ashby, but how in the world does Sophie Ledbetter track that down? She looked like a free safety out there, just able to get an arm on it.
That's right there, Molly Beatty, her first career kill at the collegiate level. You don't see that every day for the setter.
Absolutely, props to her.
Noelle Van Noort thumping, it's in the air. Out of play, Ball State point, Kripe over the net.
I mean, there's just not much you can do when you hit a ball that powerfully like Noelle Van Oort. If I'm on that Chippewa side, I certainly don't know what I'm doing with it.
What's crazy to me is Noelle Van Oort, after this MAC tournament run, potential NCAA tournament run is over, she's going back to her engineering job. Crazy.
Spent some time with it in the summer before KMP gave her a call. I don't know how you just go back to work after something as substantial as a MAC championship run.
Tabling the dig. Set up for Tyler, too long, unless there's a finger to it on the Chippewa side. There is.
Sailed wide, but immediately Tyler put her hand up saying, hey, one of those Chippewas tipped that. It's now her 9th kill.
Getting close to that double-double range. We're really in that range. Will be her 16th if she could get it today. Chippewas, just a miscommunication. Dylan, what happened there?
Well, I think Kripe tried to keep it short, similar to the serving attacks that they've done, but as we saw with the serves yesterday as well, sometimes it just doesn't get over the net. A little too much touch, or I suppose not enough.
Back over to Taylor Kripe, tabling, what an effort. Ashby on the right side, blocked up. Tabling did all she could, but Chippewas get it. So this is just a big spike from Ashby, and Kripe getting all of it. Molly Beatty. Too long on the setup, of miscommunication goes on the Chippewa side.
Well, and this set has just been all about offensive firepower. In the second set yesterday, there was just a lot of discombobulation on either side. Both teams had a hitting percentage of under 200, but right now, either of them are at 400 apiece.
Now Axis. Tyler looks to counter. Responded to by Connor. Wademan, the setup. Kripe on the far side. It sneaks through. Central Michigan going on a run, knotting it up.
And the struggles of set 2 have been pretty prominent for Ball State. They're 9-8 in MAC play in the second set. They won it last night with the sweep, but this one's certainly a little bit closer than expected.
3-0 run for the Chippewas. Will it continue? No, it's out of play. Kristen Ashby, another kill as Central Michigan makes some changes. And Gwen Kroll goes to the service line for Ball State. 18 aces for her on the year. Quick stoppage in play. Ariel Wilson talking with the officials. Let's play on. George, to Connor on the slide.
That's the first time we've seen Carla Sanchez-George since September 20th against Princeton in the non-conference schedule. Coach Wilson really mixing it up on the floor.
Gearing up for the future, that's the big thing. The seniors had their moment on senior day at home, now going towards the freshmen today. Access over the middle of the Wise. Ledbetter diving effort. Off of the Tyler tap, Central Michigan controls. George, Kripe, tap, Ashby saves. A free ball that Central Michigan controls. In reverse to Hewitt. A touch up at the net, some interference there, goes against Ball State.
And this is what we love about Maction. That point was just pandemonium, Rowan. All you can do is just sit back and laugh as whatever's going on in front of you transpires.
I don't think the Cardinals are laughing, though. Axness, cross court to Tyler. Kripe, what an effort. Hewitt, her try won't go. Big block for Ball State.
We mentioned earlier that Kristen Ashby's biggest presence, even with her kill count, is up front at the line. And her paired up with Cam Weiss, who leads this team in blocks, not much getting by those pairs of hands.
Lindsey Green, 5th in the MAC in aces. She sends it across, over 40 for her on the year. We start off, there's a whistle blown. Ball State does get the point off of that.
So one of the pitfalls of having some of your underclassmen on the floor is that there's some inexperience with spacing, and I think that was some sort of illegal formation. I couldn't tell you the full nitty-gritty, but immediate whistle blown.
Yeah, I think you're right on that. George, one of those freshmen that set up to Connor, not enough.
And that was a frustrated face from Brooklyn Connor. She's now talking to KSG. Little too low of a set from the sophomore, but we play on.
Dylan, I think you just gave her a new nickname. How about that?
KSG, KMP.
KSG to Hewitt doesn't go. Wise off of Connor, over towards us, Ball State point.
Yeah. KSG and Swears just came spilling towards us, neither able to get the ball.
As we head into the first of 15 break, we'll be right back. You're watching Ball State and Central Michigan volleyball. In set 2, Ball State the advantage, but these outside hitters have been incredible today. Who sets them up? The setters. For more on that, let's go to Annika Whitty.
Thanks, guys. Both of these teams are undoubtedly packed when talking about setters. For the Cardinals, the 3-time MAC setter pair of the weekend, Reese Axis and Lindsey Green, has developed exceptionally into Ball State's 6-2 system. with a combined 36 assists last night and 23 tonight so far. On the other side for the Chippewas is Keelan Mill, who we haven't seen tonight, but has 2 Max Setter of the Week awards to her name and is currently 8th in the conference in assists per set with 7.81. The production of these setters has been extremely pivotal in the success of these squads throughout this season.
Annika, couldn't have said it better myself. As one of those setters, Lindsey Green gets us started. Swears the attack. Ball State the response with Tyler. It's blocked up front. Cross court, Raymond, her first try. It goes too long.
Well, and Ball State has been known for coming out of timeouts and immediately putting pressure on their opposition, but when you're doing it against a team that is so fast, such as Central Michigan, there's not much you can do there.
We have our official review here. I think this is going to be about maybe a touch up front on the net.
I think KMP pulled out that green card under that argument, but we get to take a look with our lovely replay system.
Because the argument was, because the call on the floor was a Ball State point. I think maybe this is Ariel Wilson pulling out that challenge. We'll have to wait and see. If that was a touch at the net, you just have to think about the little things. Is it enough to overturn?
Let's take a look. Didn't see much there.
Maybe it's not even a block at the net. Did it sneak in on that back row?
Oh, that's what the question is. Is it out? It looks like it's just on the line, Rowan.
Yeah, that's right on the white line.
Wow, you want to talk about a bang-bang play. So the call should be Central Michigan's.
And so it does overturn off of that. So it's the ruling on the court is overturned. So on that white line, that's very much a gray area, though. It's tough to overturn, but Central Michigan, they're able to get it overturned.
Well, it depends on the sport, too. Sometimes it's if it hits the line, it's out. If it hits the line, it's in. If it's more outside than inside, it's out. Vice versa. That time, Coach Wilson 1 for 1 on challenges today.
Replay reviews are some of my favorite, Dylan. It's almost like a game of battleship between both coaches, kind of plotting in that dead period. Tiffany Snook, too strong for Kripe. Green, Wise, Kripe the dig. In reverse, Swears the tap. Ball State with Wise. She handles it back off the block. Carson Tyler thumps it. Olin free balls. That's a 4th touch on Central Michigan.
Kripe has to be so frustrated. One of those digs was a diving effort. The other one went right off her chest as Tiffany Snook just mollywopped it her way. Still not to her avail.
Dylan, you have a way with words, my friend. That's the perfect way to describe it.
Got to throw in a little mollywop here and there. We used cloud piercing yesterday.
Well, here's a cloud piercer, mollywop and server with Carson Tyler, but that time just goes off of the webbing.
And the announcer jinx strikes
there
again.
There it is. It's always me. It's always me, so I'll apologize in advance. But
tough scenes.
Chippewas have it within 2 here. They're competitive in this second set.
As we're goofing around, we've got a really close set 2 ahead of us. This could be a chance for Central, now that they have the ball back, to start gathering some momentum.
With Izzy Swears, the sophomore, Ball State 4 errors compared to CMU 0. That's made the difference.
Should be noted that Natalia Raymond is checking in for the first time all day.
Now Green back over with Wise on the tap. Raymond on that back line, her second try at it won't go.
She led the way in kills with 7, also had 9 digs, 5 assists, which was a career high. Weirdly enough, in her penultimate game, tried to make an immediate impact, but no dice.
Maybe playing the role of the maestro. Anderson, Raymond. Green, over to Van Oort. On the back line, it's tipped at the net. Ball State ever so close to winning that race to 20. In a second set where in MAC play, it hasn't been the easiest. 9-8 in set 2 in MAC play for the Cards.
Well, and as you and I talked about, it's always the race in 5s to 5, 10, 15, 20. Cards 2 away from that illustrious 20.
On the slide, it's Thomas. It's able to go down for Central Michigan.
Back to serve for the visitors, Natalia Raymond.
That slide action, it never gets old for the Chippewas.
It's one of my favorite plays in volleyball, and Coach Wilson credited it as her bread and butter when she was a middle blocker at Penn State.
Raymond on the serve. Van North is blocked up. Central Michigan once again winning in that category.
Might have been a weird set, but Van Ort just tried the two-hand push. Wasn't able to work that time, and still a really close one.
Both teams with 4 blocks each. Green, back to Krull, down.
It's not often that you see Gwen Krull get the first touch on a serve receive, but it's because of those short serves that Central's been having all series. Krull able to get the first touch and then extinguish with the third.
One of the first times I've said all year, Krull, Green, Krull. Cards by 3. Kripe on the far side. It's too much.
Wanted the coffin corner, just couldn't get it. And as you said before, Cardinals win the race to 20. They're starting to find their swag back.
Really getting that swagger back. Beatty on the set. Thomas off the slide. Ledbetter tried to pancake, couldn't get it.
Props to Grace Thomas. She had to fall back to get an arm on that. Great core control from Thomas.
You talk about sky piercing, there's another example right there. Grace Thomas. She's been excellent at the stripe this year. Ashby a look over the middle. Krull free ball. Kripe, the hammer, off of Ledbetter. Tyler from the back row, blocked by Connor. Central Michigan in control. Connor blocked by Krull.
Volleyball is the best. There's so much going on in that rally. And in the end, it's just fundamentals. Gwen Krull, 2 long arms up, able to get that rally over with the veto.
Where else do you see that? Gwen Krull, magnificent today. That's her 2nd block, has 3 kills to pair with it. Raymond, she wants one. Ledbetter the dive. Carson Tyler over. Chippewas miscommunication. Axis, Tyler, Coffin's corner, yes.
And that starts with the error from Keelan Mill. The discombobulation allowed Ball State to really capitalize. It's Mill's 28th service error. And now Carson Tyler is in double digits with 10 kills already.
Notably 5 digs as well, close to the double-double mark. Taylor Kripe with the response, there it is. Now we move over to Molly Beatty off of that big kill from Taylor Kripe. You go from freshman to freshman for Central Michigan. Ashby's blocked at the net.
They've really tried to use Ashby all over the floor, in the middle, on the left side, and the right side, but so far an unproductive day from her with the errors and kills combined, hitting at 0%.
The tap over from Krull, it's too easy.
And after an unproductive night last night from Gwen Krull, now already with 6 kills, hitting at just about 600. That's the story of Gwen Krull in conference play. She really started to heat up towards the tail end of non-con and hasn't looked back.
We saw 4 kills on 11 attacks from her yesterday. As Beatty heaves it up, the push from Connor, Ball State responds. Swears off of the net, goes to the Chippewas.
Man, Swears is listed on the roster as 6 foot even, but you got to think her wingspan is a little bit longer than that. Certainly really lanky on the floor, and it's what gives her the edge on some of those kills.
Central Michigan not too far behind. And off of the net, Taylor Kripe wants that back.
All smiles for Taylor Kripe, but you can tell she is frustrated.
Here we go, set point. Ball State can taste it. Lindsey Green, who has over 40 aces on the year, she sets it up.
No better server for the Cardinals than right now.
The heave on the near side. Swears prolongs this set 2.
And even though Central Michigan is down a little bit, they're still very much in it. And Swears, I think she stared down Carson Tyler a little bit after that one, saying, hey, I'm still here.
Yeah, very well could be the case.
It's the game within the game.
It's always a mental game, too. It's Olin. Too long on the set over, dump over from Swears. Once again, continuing it for Central Michigan, Izzy Swears.
And now there's no smiles on the Cardinal side. KMP just called timeout. They need a chance to talk this over.
Cardinals go to a timeout, 24-22. We'll be right back. We're going to keep it right here as a matter of fact, but for Ball State, up by 2, what do they need to do to get this last point?
Well, they have to continue to stay creative. We haven't had Cam Weiss's number get called in a little bit. Maybe I want to see an attack from her, whether that's on the slide or just right up the gut. But the common theme all year long has been Ball State's struggle to finish. But I want to talk a little bit about Molly Beatty, the setter from Indiana. We mentioned it a little bit last night, but she played for Club Munciana, just in Yorktown, about 20 minutes away. And it should be noted, who created Club Munciana? None other than Steve Shondell, KMP's predecessor.
It's funny, I was actually out today. I was talking to someone. I said, yeah, Muncie, volleyball capital of the world. And he said, yeah, growing up, everyone wanted to get into Club Munciana. Everyone wanted to get their daughter into that. Everyone wanted to learn from the Shondells. It really is that important. Molly Beatty, another example of it.
A really prestigious club over there in Yorktown. And so cool that for Ball State, there was a head coach as illustrious as Steve Shondell, KMP able to be his assistant for a few years and then usurp the role of head coach. And this team hasn't skipped a beat. The transition has been wonderful.
Really taking by example for sure. As Abby Olin looks to prolong this set. It's a close one in set 2. Chippewas look to rally.
Cards fans want an ending. Arms have still been waving.
Lindsey Green, wise, she can't end it. Tries once more, no. Raymond continues it. Central Michigan within one of the cards.
Sure enough, the attack went to Cam Wise. It's what we said in the timeout, but Natalia Raymond, her name getting called for the first time today. Uncharacteristic from her, but you got to feed your stars in dire straits.
Lindsey Green, tap over, snook. There it is for Ball State. They end set 2, and they're one set win away from getting the sweep. And we continue on. We'll be right back with more volleyball on ESPN. Return to beautiful Worthing Arena on a Friday night for MAC volleyball between the Cardinals and Chippewas. I'm Rowan Elbert. That's Dylan Budd. So Dylan, on your end, Central Michigan, it's really been all Cardinals. What's gone wrong for them?
Well, and this is what we saw last night as well. Ball State has been capitalizing on Central's mistakes, but the biggest thing for Central, it's understandable that you want to start having underclassmen get some time on the floor in this situation, but one of the pitfalls of that is they don't have much time together and they don't have as much court experience. Arielle Wilson, in her talks with us, had said court IQ is so substantial for success, and I'm not necessarily saying that there's an issue with that, but the inexperience of their time on the floor together has certainly shown time and time again so far.
And flipping over to the Ball State side, what's worked so well for them?
Well, one of our keys to the game is how creative they've been. They've been dishing the rock to anybody and everybody, but at the same time, their biggest star, Carson Tyler, who's been dominant all year long, putting on a show today for us, and we just get the pleasure of watching.
It's really been all Cardinals thus far. It's really been a great showing. Let's look at the first half stats out of halftime. It's evident. You look at that attacking percentage, Ball State really dominating in most facets. Central Michigan, it's hard to keep up.
Well, we mentioned at the end of the first game that the ideal hitting percentage for a head coach is just about .250. Ball State through 2 sets hitting at 300% is absolutely insane. Now, one of the keys for Central Michigan was to have a strong net presence. They had 8 blocks yesterday and 5 today, but the Cardinals have responded in their part as well with 5 of their own. It's not uncommon that they're out killing by 7, 32-25, as you see on her screen. But one of the biggest things that I see, Ball State leading the way at the service line. 4 aces after having 3 all by Carson Tyler in the third set last game.
Ball State has just really dominated in most facets, and that's what you said too. They caught up in the blocking area. That's so huge for the Cardinals because they're a team, they have that height and they have the options with it.
And it was very, very clear when we talked to Coach KMP, we asked what the 3 keys are for her to win this series, and she said defense, 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 even saying if she could put it down 10 times that she would write down defense. Even just a little bit of contact on their block attempts to slow down those Central attacks would be critical. The Cardinals have done just that and more, going toe-to-toe at the front row.
Yeah, she said defense, defense, defense. How about another one? How about defense?
Absolutely. There hasn't been much defense, I would argue, on either side. Mainly the struggles have come from the offense on either end. Still a little bit of miscommunication here and there, as we've seen from both sides, but there's been so much fun offense and creativity on both sides that as we get to call the game, you can't help but just smile and watch.
Arielle Wilson looking to right the wrongs in what could potentially be the final set of Central Michigan's season, trying to prolong it as much as they can out of MAC postseason contention, but just trying to do all they can to soak up this final match.
Well, if they're going to win, it now has to become a reverse sweep, and unfortunately for them, in extra play, CMU is 3-5 in MAC play in the 4th set, 0-4 when they get to the 5th. Now, as for the Cardinals, 7-0 in the 4th set in MAC play, 5-0 when it gets to 5 sets. So it's a marathon, not a sprint for Ball State. And amongst all of the great things that this Cardinal squad does, one of them is cardio.
Lindsey Green across for the Cardinals. Beatty the touch. Back row Kripe. Ledbetter the dig. Van Ort has the free ball. Central Michigan free balls. There's Snook. Struggled for it. Ball State, they are hot in set 3 early.
Well, precision beats power and timing beats speed. Central really tried to start and get out hot, but even with all of that, Tiffany Snook's power says Cards get the point.
Swears wise the block. Back over Connor Ledbetter, fumbling and gets it. Carson Tyler, Coffin's corner, yes.
It's not often that you see a kill take the form of a parabola, a lot more of an arc. Generally, it's that line drive, but incredibly placed by Carson Tyler. There's a reason she won first team All-MAC, and it's because of the power, but also because of her placement.
Dylan, you know your angles well. Beatty, back across Thomas. What an effort. Ball State just can't get it. Tyler was there. Everyone was there. Couldn't get it.
Well, and speaking of angles, there was a bit of a misstep from Carson Tyler, and that's all it was. Kind of swayed laterally before diving for the ball, and It's a little thing like that on such a great kill, and that's all the rally had.
That's a different kind of angle that Ball State probably didn't want to talk about. Green, back in reverse to Wise. Ledbetter off of the hand, goes into the sea of red in the crowd. It's a Central Michigan point.
I thought it was going to go out of bounds, but still not necessarily a bad idea from Ledbetter to keep it up. She's known to have great court awareness, and maybe a mistake there, but totally justified, I'd argue.
Tyler, Green, Tyler again. Central Michigan with it. Beatty to the near side. Olin, it's far. Off of Hewitt, it's long and a Ball State point.
Looked like Hewitt wanted her 47th kill off a Cardinal tip, just couldn't get it there.
The sophomore getting some of her best reps in this match. Carson Tyler. Chippewas in control. Swears on that far side. Green pancakes. Hewitt can't go. Van Oort. It does. Noelle Van Oort, a big kill.
We just saw the graphic on our screen that Central is hitting at 225% to Ball State's 312. So on either side, offense has been pretty productive. It's just that Ball State has had a lot more volume kills, and another one there from Noelle Van Oort.
That's Van Oort's 8th kill of the match right there. Attacking at a 33% clip, she has been very solid in her final match at Worthen Arena. That's the emotional part, as Arielle Wilson, she discusses with the official on that last play. And it looks like we're not going to play on. We might get a review. It looks like we are getting a review. Wilson, her second challenge.
Yeah, I don't know what the argument was there, maybe whether or not it was a tip, whether or not it landed in bounds. Maybe she's arguing there was no tip at the line.
That could be, because it just looked routine. It just looked Van Oort tap over, and that was it.
There wasn't even all that much velocity to the Van Oort kill. I suppose I don't know what the argument here is, but we get the chance to take a look on the replay.
Yeah, Central Michigan at this point, trailing by 2. It's your final set of the year, potentially. Why not pull out all the stops?
So here's the kill attempt from Van Oort. It's Ledbetter's bump for the second touch, and now Van Oort extension. Did not hit a Chippewa. I really don't know what the argument is. It landed perfectly in bounds, and it would have tip or otherwise, but completely untouched by the CMU front row.
I wonder if it could potentially do with the start that Van Oort had. Maybe she was out of position really just to start from the play?
That's the only thing I can think of, if there was some sort of violation on the run-up. But Rowan, that's all I've got.
And that would be a rare mistake on Van Oort's end. I mean, she's been playing college volleyball for 5 years at this point.
This is someone that is well experienced on the floor, and you could argue, oh, well, there's a little bit of a gap as she had her job post-grad in engineering, but she spent enough time on the floor that wouldn't be an issue of inexperience.
You would think. It's just such an interesting story how she thought she was done, and then she gets the call from Kelly Miller-Phillips. She has the eligibility. That was a recent case, too, that disclosed that non-NCAA athletes could get a year of eligibility.
Oh, you know what it was? It was the long sustained rally. I think Wilson is questioning whether or not it hit the ground there before Weiss sent it back over. Here's the last of the rally, but there was a quick moment where it was kind of pinballing around there. Let's take a look. Didn't hit a Cardinal. Did it hit the ground before Green? So went off Green, then off the knee of Carson Tyler, and then Weiss has the court awareness to just send it over. That's 3 touches from Ball State, and the Cards should get this point.
As we await the official ruling, they give it to Ball State. The ruling on the floor stands.
It's a great challenge from Coach Wilson, but what a circus play. Wow. Off the foot of Green, maybe hit some of her hand as well, and then off the right knee of Carson Tyler.
Also to remember that, too. I mean, I can't even remember what I ate for breakfast this morning, but Arielle Wilson had that in the back of her mind. Hewitt at the net. Cardinals get a hold. Ledbetter, the bump. Snook From Royal to Royal, they give it to the Cardinals.
It's just an issue there from Alina Anderson to cover the back end of that block. Hit exactly the way Central didn't want, and the Cards get the point. Now starting to run away early in set 3.
Ledbetter and Snook, high school teammates at Hamilton Southeastern, working together once more there. Swears on the far side, Ledbetter the dig. Once more, can't get it. Van Noort the big spike. The block goes against Central Michigan. Ball State in control.
Yeah, it's considered a tool for the graduate, but I could wax poetic about how critical hitting percentage is. Tiffany Snook at .364 herself. The Cards in this set are at .714.
Lindsey Green, another rare reception error. It's her second of the match.
Yeah, I understand that she's in distress, but you just got a really great Taylor Kripe kill attempt land right on your chest. There's just not much you can do.
It's all about that tune-up going into the MAC tournament where Ball State will have a bye.
Going back to that hitting percentage, the Cardinals hitting at 71.4% in this set. Central is at just 15%, a lack of production early on in the third.
Yeah, we saw they attacked at a 13% clip yesterday. Green to the far side, pushes for Van Noort, she's stonewalled.
Central did everything right there. A short serve meant Carson Tyler had to take it, and that effectively takes her out of the play, leaving just Van Noort after the set. Great block from those front row Chippewas.
Yeah, we noticed that in the pre-match warm-ups for Central Michigan. Ball State looks to counter. Green in reverse to Snook, goes off of Kripe towards the scorer's table. Ball State, they look with a response of their own for Noelle Van Noort. Not enough. Thomas on the slide, a Chippewa point.
Misplaced touch by Noelle Van Noort on the block attempt, but just well done from Central Michigan and a great way to get back in it. Only down 1 now.
Back to Izzy Swears we go. 28 aces going into this match, second on the team. Green the bump. Van Noort the push. Thomas another slide over towards us. Hello, Lindsey Green. A free ball for Carson Tyler. Beatty to the near side, Raymond. Is it wide? That's the question, it is.
Great play from Lindsey Green to be able to hit the ball over her head while falling our way. How do you do? Great recovery.
I wonder if she got my message. Probably too locked in on the moment. Chippewas, that's another error on their side. An ace for the Cardinals. They're running away.
And a ball to media row. I thought our official there on the ladder was going to corral it, but nope. Comes the way of our stage manager.
Back-to-back days, Ryan Stojets is awake and ready. Green the pop-up for Snook. The hammer is down.
That time it's the benefit of being on courtside. We heard Tiffany Snook yell, "Me, me, me." They gave her the call, she delivered.
20th assist right there for Lindsey Green. To that far side, the slide works once more for Thomas.
It's a game of inches, and Green was just inches away from getting a pancake on a ball that might have been going 45, 50 miles an hour. That thing had some authority on it.
Now we go to Rainey Wademan. We saw her wearing the libero shirt earlier, not this time. Off of the webbing it goes. That will go down for Wademan as her 10th error.
Not often that we see Wademan in the rotation, certainly not in conference play. Now just 10 service errors to 4 service aces. Not normally in the rotation, and again, the woes continue for the underclassmen.
Continuing with the 6-2, Reese Axmus checks in for Lindsey Green on Ball State's side. Thomas on the slide, Cardinals can't control. Grace Thomas, what a day she's had, back-to-back kills. 5 kills on 9 attacks.
Coming off a day with 6, this is nothing new for her to be so productive up the middle.
She's been great from the stripe as well. Axis in reverse, Cruel, blocked up front by Kripe. Van Noort the response, to no avail. Back row, Ledbetter can't handle it, into the cheerleaders, into the crowd.
It's the benefit of the back row attack. Izzy Swears was able to travel so much to get forward momentum on it, as we saw some of the members of Code Red just slowly sidestep the ball coming their way.
Grace Thomas, we work again. Axis behind her, Van Noort, too much for the Chippewas to handle.
And yet another tool for Noelle Van Noort, now second on either side in kills with 9, but hitting at a really productive 250%. Great work from the graduate on her senior day.
We work with Elizabeth Tabling, 12 aces to her name this year. Beatty in reverse, another slide, but it's Connor. Tyler, she's stuffled, and they give it to Ball State. It was out of play.
That was a weird block from Central Michigan. I think it hit both Connor and Thomas's hands. Went off one, pinballed off the other, out of bounds, Cardinal point.
It's that miscommunication again. It's really been hurting Central Michigan. Out of play, Kristen Ashby said, yeah, that's out. That's another benefit of being on Media Row.
And we see it there again. Big time errors from the inexperienced Central Michigan team.
A check-in for Central Michigan. Ella Peter, the Noblesville, Indiana native, comes in for Brooklyn Connor. She played on senior day, actually started. It was her first match played since August. Raymond can't handle it. Another ace for the Cardinals. It's their 7th.
And the one blemish for Natalia Raymond, similar to Carson Tyler, is on serve receive. That's now her 33rd service error on the year.
A rare blemish, like you said. Tabling wants another one. Instead, she gets an error.
And her ratio now goes to 1. 12 service aces, 12 service errors. Pretty typical for a defensive specialist.
But if she does give you 12, you do like that. You kind of have to take that with it. Axness goes off the net. Ball State can't corral.
Man, I don't know what's going on now. A little bit of some errors now for Ball State. I don't know if the Monstars took their powers or if it's just a lack of communication, but something's going on the Cardinal side.
What was that drink they had? It was to get their powers back.
It was Michael's secret stuff. It just needs some water.
Chippewas is set up. Kripe on the other end. Ledbetter the dive. And Ella Peter the kill for Central Michigan.
It's the first of the day for Peter after having 7 against Miami on her senior day. Outstanding extension and reach from Sophie Ledbetter, but just a little too high, and it's all Ella Peter there.
Arielle Wilson was telling us that she's a very selfless player. Carson Tyler, that's her secret stuff right there, that big thump. As we head to a quick break, we'll be right back with more volleyball, Cardinals and Chippewas. We return with more volleyball, but you can't talk about Ball State, especially today, without Noelle Van Noort.
Yeah, absolutely. 9 kills to her name through 2.5 sets on 21 attacks, hitting 286. Those attack percentage numbers have really started to tick up in those final games of conference play. There was a little bit of a, maybe a cold streak for her when MAC play started, but since then she has picked up right where she left off in conference play. Outstanding work from her on her senior day, and you got to give her props.
Yeah, you'll take that line any day of the week, slashing 28%. Not only that, but even her bad days, that's a lot of players' good days.
And that's what you got to think about. A bad day for Noelle Van Oort is 5 kills and hitting 20%. For some freshman on the back of the bench on a MAC team, that sounds perfect.
George to Kripe, freshman to freshman, doesn't work.
Interesting call to have KSG remain in the game, not having someone like Beatty or Keelan Mill.
I think that's going to stick, Dylan. We haven't seen Keelan Mill all day. Chippewa's a miscommunication, Cardinal point.
And that's just been the theme of the day, Rowan. Just a lack of time on the court together has really showed in every set, in most of these rallies, especially in set 3.
George in reverse. Peter the dump. Tabling. Tyler. Whistle blown on the net violation. Point Ball State.
I mean, I don't mean to sound like a broken record, but even when they got that ball over, Carla Sanchez-George was scrambling and then a net violation to end it. I don't know what's going on their side, but Coach Wilson has to be beside herself.
Not the way you want to end the season. Swears looks to keep it going. Carson Tyler, her response, up in the air. Ashby finishes, not quite. A joust at the net, nobody even touches the ball to give it to Ball State.
Big slams from Kristen Ashby, able to take advantage of more woes from Central Michigan, then jumping not once, not twice, but 3 times to make sure it stayed on their side.
Too long for Gwen Kroll, a rare error from the stripe on her end. Now comes in Sophie Ledbetter. Taylor Kripe looking to end her freshman season on a high note. Tyler, big kill. Carson Tyler, her 15th.
I mean, who else are you going to call but Carson Tyler? Coming off another 14 kill day, so besting what she did last night as well. And you got to consider, last night was a productive day for her efficiency-wise, hitting at 22%. Rowan, she's at 44% so far.
Unreal, as Green has a rare error on her part. What we've seen from Carson Tyler, like I was saying yesterday, as a freshman, we didn't think it could get much better. We were wrong.
Well, when we talked to Kelly Miller-Phillips, she had said that, as much as it's nice that we clinched the 1 seed, we've got to get hot and peak at the right time. So far, this is Tyler's magnum opus.
Tiffany Snook on the slide. Big kill for the Cardinals. They're 4 away from winning.
And another person that's been ridiculous, Tiffany Snook, 8 kills on 13 attacks. Middle blocker, opposite hitter, outside hitter, anywhere on the front row, even in the back row. She's been doing it all today.
Carson Tyler on the day has 1 ace to her name, 2 digs away from a double-double. Over the middle, Thomas with the Ledbetter save. Chippewas reset Anderson, over to the far side, Swears. Wise a tap, can't go. Raymond too strong. Van Oort. Diving effort, Anderson, it goes under the net. It's a Ball State point. They're 3 away.
And even when they're 3 points away from ending the regular season on a high note, it would be a 7-game win streak to go into the MAC tournament. They're still learning new things like that go ball on offense, just being so creative.
Raymond, she continues it. Natalia Raymond gets a kill, put it within 7.
I think the Cards tried to get a short serve of their own right there, but Central Michigan, having tried to do it on their side, were able to handle it comfortably.
Green pops up for Wise. Into the front row. Ball State the reset. Green, Wise again. There it is down aisle 3.
Well, when Lindsey Green and Cam Wise didn't get the go ball the first time, they said, let's try it again. 2 straight times on that rally, they went to it right down Broadway. And Cam Wise, with her efficiency numbers, able to easily take advantage of it. Great speed and creativity from the Redbirds.
A one-way ticket through Broadway as well. Raymond, Ledbetter controls it for the Cardinals. Van Ort, her chance. Off of the long dig, Ball State with it. Snook. Anderson fights to no avail. A second touch, got two at once. Ball State at set point.
And just like that, Rowan, we might have a record for one of the shortest broadcasts that we've done. It's been domination from the Cardinals today.
Cardinals look to finish. Crowd behind them as Beatty sets up. On the slide, the block from Van Ort. Tough time handling it, they free ball. Staying alive are the Chippewas. Van Ort to end it on senior night, just too wide.
Smiles from Noelle Van Ort, but man, I really thought she had that one. Out of all the players, I think Noelle Van Ort is the only one that has her senior day. I think this ball's gonna go to her no matter what.
Off of the webbing, good night Chippewas. Cardinals have their best record since 2002 in MAC play.
And you couldn't have done it in a more dominant fashion. Central was hanging with them in the first and second, but the third set winning by 10 against another MAC opponent whose record is not showing of the full story. They're a whole lot better than their record would say. Winning by 10 to end conference play. You couldn't have a higher note.
How about that? Ball State 17-1. First time since 2002 that they did that. It was a head coach for the Cardinals in Randy Litchfield that got it done for Ball State that year. What a great season for the Cardinals, and they're not done yet.
The transition from coach to coach has been ridiculous with him, as you said, and then Shondell, and now Coach KMP with another illustrious regular season.
Well, Annika Woody, you know a lot about Kelly Miller-Phillips. You've seen her quite a bit the last couple of days. Here we are.
Yes, of course, I am back here with the winning coach, Coach Kelly Miller-Phillips. Now, the Chippewas a couple times were a little bit too close for comfort. What was your message to your Cardinals throughout that said discomfort that ultimately led to a dominant third set and then the victory?
Well, they were doing a whole bunch of different stuff, right? They had unique lineups, and I felt like we were just way overthinking what they were doing instead of focusing on our side of the net. So I just really told them, do it back to the fundamentals. You know, same as yesterday, handle the ball, work hard, get in rhythm, and all of a sudden things will change in our way, and I felt like that's what happened set 3.
Yeah, for sure. And now that we're approaching the MAC tournament, what does the next week look like in preparation for that?
That's a great question. I mean, the same as what it has been, to be real honest with you, making sure we reset mentally, physically, get our rest, and then I'm going to go back on film. I'm going to find some things I still want to make sure that we have cleaned up going into the last weekend, because as I told them, everything's about making sure we're peaking at the right time, playing our best volleyball going into next weekend, and maximizing that. And so that's what we got to do, get better in practice and be ready to go next weekend.
Yes, of course, and congratulations on a fantastic regular season. I'll send it back to Rowan and Dylan back in the media row.
Kelly Miller-Phillips and Annika Whitty, a dynamic duo at this point. Let's talk about the blocks, just stifling on both sides.
Well, we wanted to see Central have such a strong net presence, and they did. Credit to them for their 6 blocks on the day, but Ball State was able to just about match that number with 5 of their own. It was a block party on either side.
And it's back-to-back matches that Central Michigan had the upper hand in that stat, but Ball State still had the advantage due in large part to Carson Tyler.
I mean, who else but Carson Tyler to end the regular season on a high note, almost having yet another double-double. It would have been her 16th on the year, but props to her, hitting 467. That's insane for an outside hitter.
Insane indeed, including these stats. Look at that hitting percentage. Ball State 34 to Central Michigan 21.
Efficiency is key, but look at that kill number. Ball State leading by 14. They led by 7 at the end of night 1. They're doubling the total. They just keep getting better, Rowan. And then 7 service aces to Central Michigan 2. All of the errors that they've had this year, they've been capitalizing on and fixing at the perfect time.
Let's look at that bracket, though, for the upcoming MAC tournament that we've talked about quite a bit. As you look right here, Ball State has that bye. They'll face either the winner of Ohio or Akron. Keep in mind, Ohio, they're the one team in the MAC that's beaten Ball State this year.
Yeah, Ohio has been the toughest test for the Cardinals so far. Ball State won game 1 on a reverse sweep that, quite frankly, they really shouldn't have won, and then swept the next day in a heartbreaker. Just the one blemish on this outstanding Cardinal record. So It's certainly a very interesting semifinal round here for Ball State ahead, but they'll certainly enjoy this bye as well.
Really not many blemishes at all for this Cardinals team. This evening's Ball State SportsLink production was produced by Drew Wilmot and directed by Cade Johnson. So for Dylan Budd and Annika Woody, I'm Rowan Elbert saying so long from Muncie, Indiana. The final score is 3-0 Ball State. All games airing on the ESPN networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.